Yes, sir, this meeting is being live streamed.
There we go. Let me check my YouTube.
Yes, sir, this meeting is being live streamed.
Oh, Zulfi, you're also online live on YouTube.
Yes, sir, this meeting is being live streamed.
Oh, Zulfi, you're also online live on YouTube. I have to shut off the voice here. Okay, so we are testing out live streaming on YouTube. First time from AI Start Academy.
One person is watching.
Hi everyone, you're watching?
No.
No?
Says one person's watching.
No, maybe Zulfi want to start streaming last night.
No, I don't.
No, it's
No,
someone.
I'm not. Someone else, maybe.
Okay, hi everyone again. We are at AI Start Academy right now, and we are going to go through some demos of n8n. We're having our 7-day bootcamp, AI Agency Bootcamp, in the heart of San Francisco. And we are going over different AI tools. Monday, we learned LLMs and the basics of how to use LLMs, how to apply them, how to prompt them, how to differentiate them, what our token economics are, and things like that. Yesterday, we talked about humiliating Codex and optimizing workflows using Codex and using Codex for pretty much everything that you can think of. Things like doing tasks for you. We also discussed personal AI infrastructure, personal operating systems, personal AI powered operating systems. And we also did human agency scale audit, which maps out the processes within our calendars on things that we can do using AI. So today we are on our third day, Wednesday, and we are going to talk today about n8n pipelines. We're going to show some demos of n8n pipelines that we have built for our existing businesses. And we will also, so we have a student here in person, and we have Zulfi who is online from Vancouver. So we'll show some basics of n8n, and we will also try to build certain n8n pipelines using Codex. And we will also do some n8n pipelines manually. And if you're joining, hi and welcome. There is a chat over here. You can use that. This is our first time live streaming ever. So let's see how it goes. 67. Cool, let's go.
You pretty much just hide that, no?
Yes, I'm thinking of that.
You can just close it, you don't need it. I can monitor.
Yes, I can probably just close that. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching it on my side.
Perfect. Okay. So probably those two people were us in the.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. So AI Start Academy, for some reason, video here is vertical. It shows vertical.
It's fine because we only see you.
It doesn't matter. Huh?
Yeah.
Whatever. Так, share screen. Screen is up. So what we were discussing with Zulfi here before, while you were away, is he asked me if it's better to look for him, like to look for a job using with AI, or to start his own agency with AI, like AI Automation Agency. Well, my take on this is that he should probably do both, because agency not necessarily will kick off immediately. It also takes time to find leads and generate new business. But what I looked up was LinkedIn jobs that, for example, ask for knowledge of n8n. And we found like a few positions here in the SF Bay Area. I did not go global. This is just local here in SF. So there are 80 results, which is 80 more than zero just a few months ago. And if you look up here, you will see n8n as one of the skills. And then it actually also marks it strong command of the no-code, low-code integration stack, n8n, Zapier, Make, and the ability to quickly form a credible opinion on an unfamiliar tool. Also, hands-on experience building with AI coding platforms like Claude Code, which we actually covered yesterday. Cursor, we didn't cover, but it's similar to Codex or equivalents to ship JavaScript and create reusable internal tools. No, this is probably a little bit more technical position, but what I think is if you are, for example, a marketer, or you are an SEO specialist, or you are a web developer with skills that you've been using previously, if you upgrade or upskill yourself to know n8n or other AI automation tools or workflows, it will help you get into a better position much faster, and maybe increase your likelihood of going through the interview. No, during this lesson today, we won't probably be necessarily 100% covering everything that's possible within n8n, but we'll get started, and then it will be up to you guys to go deeper with it. So let's start with some of the demos of things that we have built using n8n here in my operations. So yesterday we started covering some of the workflows here that work with Telegram, for example, chatbot. And the idea here is that you have your chat, your Telegram chat, for example, and it's connected via an agent to an n8n pipeline and to CRM on the other end. And what this specific workflow does is I can send a business card to the Telegram bot, and then this Telegram message will be converted to a contact in any CRM system pretty much. And so you can communicate with your CRM system this way, which pretty much changes the way you operate things. Now, there are a lot of questions around whether Codex, you can just do things via Codex or n8n, and why do you need n8n? These are two different tools that do different tasks. n8n can be deployed in cloud, and it's a visual tool that you have granular control of, and you can be non-technical, and you can learn how to build multi-agent systems in a visual way, which helps you understand how AI works, how multi-agent systems work, and B, it's production grade. It's been in the market for a while. Of course, you can vibe code certain pipelines that you build in n8n, and you can create coded software in your Codex that you can ship to production on cloud, and that would allow you to do similar things. But it's just a matter of, like in programming, we usually have multiple ways of achieving the same result. And as a business owner, for example, I honestly, most of the time, don't even care how you achieve the result. So there are pros and cons to each approach. And for the sake of visibility and visualization, and the sake of learning and being able to reproduce things, we cover n8n as a part of the course because it's one of the tools that is pretty strong and can be used for anything. Not for anything, but for many automative tasks. So here is a pipeline, for example, that transforms business cards in CRM entries. And we can see here that there is an agent that has its instructions. It has its system role. It has input data description, processing rules, field mapping, tag extraction rules, notes extraction rules, and the data itself gets fit into the instructions via variable that comes from the previous node. So in general, if we cover n8n, this is their default interface. We jumped right straight into one of the workflows, but let's just take a step back. So this n8n instance, it's hosted on our servers in our Google Cloud account. This means that we have full control of this software. There is an official n8n website, which is n8n.io. If you didn't know, IO stands for Indian Ocean. I don't know, it just became popular one day among startup founders in Silicon Valley and beyond. So now, instead of paying $15 for IO, I end up paying $78 per year. What the heck?
One.
Per year.
Oh.
.io.
Oh, .io.
Yeah, but like the regular price usually is like $30, was at least previously. Now it's 78. The prices keep rising. But anyway, so n8n is a German company. They have an open source version and they have a commercial version, enterprise version, or cloud hosted version. If you guys don't know the difference between open source and cloud hosted, it's pretty much where the line between being able to use tools for free for the community building comes in versus hosted solution for enterprise companies who don't care to build things on their own and want a ready-to-use solution because they have budgets. So in this case, n8n offers a package that you can probably download from GitHub, n8n. And you can install it on your own Kubernetes and Docker. And if you compare it to OpenClaw, when OpenClaw came out, everyone started saying you don't need n8n because there is OpenClaw. You don't need OpenClaw because there is Claude Code. You don't need Claude Code because there is Codex. So we are still in the early stages of AI being solidified and hardened, probably is one of the words. So while we are at this stage, I think it's good to kind of be open-minded and use tools that just solve your problems and that you are familiar with. Again, if you know how to code in JavaScript, you don't need to learn Python right away if you can solve your issues using JavaScript, or vice versa. And same thing here. If you know n8n, you don't have to pick another tool if you can solve your questions using n8n. If you learn how to use Codex and can do effectively achieve your goals, your business goals, because that's the main part, is how do you achieve your business goals effectively, then you can do that using Codex. So for us, because we have an existing infrastructure on Google Cloud with multiple with a cluster and multiple nodes in it, it's easy, and I have already an existing DevOps in my team, so it's easy for us to launch these pipelines. Launch this software on our premises or in our cloud, or Google Cloud. So originally n8n, it's hosted. It has a cloud hosting, so you can sign up here for free for a free trial, and then the lowest plan is $20 a month. For starter, you can have one shared products. The main thing that differentiates open source version for your needs versus the n8n hosted cloud version is the fact that n8n counts your workflow executions. So that's how they make money. I mean, it's fair for them. And I'm glad that they have this open source version that you can host on your own server and you don't count, which doesn't count your workflows. The only limitation that we found so far, which is kind of sucks, is that if you self-host n8n, you don't have an ability to have multiple users, admin users. So you can have only one admin user for your open sourced location, for your open sourced version of n8n. And for us, it's not an issue, for example. So we can launch multiple different n8n instances for each separate client. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever we want. And there can be one user in each of the instances. Anything to kind of save money for our small businesses that we work with and for our small business, because everything that we don't pay externally for SaaS subscriptions, we keep for our employees and our R&D, for example. So this is self-hosted n8n. One of our students has, I think, started his account on official n8n cloud. He will talk about it a little later and demonstrate what he achieved. But these are the prices. These are the workflow execution limitations. And then this is our internal n8n that is being used to run production workflows, one of which is that business card workflow that I just showed. But this is their basic interface. An interesting part about n8n is that they have a huge community. When I started using n8n, maybe about a year ago, it was around 100,000, even less. So it kept growing, but it's also hit a plateau, looks like, because there are so many different tools that you can use. But I'm still a fan of n8n for now. I don't know how it will turn out in 1 year or so. Maybe we'll have to migrate. But for now, it's something that we use and we like, because my team, both technical and non-technical, can have access to these workflows. My technical team can build more difficult, more complex, more technologically advanced pipelines, and my non-technical people can come to these workflows and just adjust things visually, which is pretty cool. So from here, what do we do? What's important about n8n? It's good for non-technical people. It's no code, low code. No code means that you don't use any code in those pipelines, and it's possible to do that. Low code means that you have certain what's called nodes where you can add snippets of code. So snippets of code is called low code. And what's even more amazing is that with the growing community, and that's another, well, on one side it's a problem, but on the other side it's also it's a double-edged sword as usual. So on one side, there are 10,000 workflow automation templates that you can find in n8n community, and they pretty much cover anything that you can think about. Support template, chatbots, and we covered in our first two lessons yesterday and day before yesterday what is RAG system and basic like chatbot things and how to upload knowledge base and things like that. But for example, this is a template for a chatbot, AI-powered WhatsApp chatbot, RAG starter template, and then there are featured templates here. For example, competitor analysis, PDF to Markdown converter, AI-powered SEO cannibalization monitor. I don't even know what that is. Let's see. This workflow runs weekly and checks multiple client websites for potential SEO cannibalization issues using Google Search Console data from the data box. Pulls page level impressions and average position data, prepares the data, analyzes it with AI, and sends SEO risk report to Slack. So you can connect n8n to different channels, communication channels like Telegram or Slack or WhatsApp, etc. So these templates, you can install them to your local or to your self-hosted n8n instance or to your cloud n8n instance. And you can get started pretty much in minutes if you know what you're doing. And in order to know what you're doing, what to do, and where to go, we kind of have to learn things. So that's why we're here. So there are 10,000 plus templates that you can just get started with. The double-edged part is that if you are trying to sell AI, that's the part that kind of is difficult because everything that's being done once becomes templatized and commoditized, which means that something that you charged someone like, let's say, $500 yesterday, and then you made it into a template or someone released it as a template, it becomes free. Good part is that more people can have access, more non-technical people with no budgets can have access to that. The bad part is that if you're trying to sell it as a business or package it as an agency business, you have to be creative in that regards. And one answer for that is that you sell operating systems instead of one-off solutions, and you also sell consulting for people who don't necessarily know anything about AI and aren't even familiar with the ways they're, let's say, so busy with their own business that they don't care. Like there are people like that don't care about the templates, who just want things done. But for you as an implementer, AI integrator, you can get started with these templates and learn fast different approaches to solving different tasks. So this is the n8n interface. Main thing here is that you create new workflows, and within those, so we have a few workflows already here that has been created, and I'll go over them. I'll just start a new workflow here to show you how it looks like at the very beginning. And one more thing before we proceed is, in order to build a solid pipeline, you first need to know what you are building. So yesterday we spent some time here on understanding what type of things we can one second. So what I'm looking for is has audit. So HAS audit is we have a document that you can download from our hub. It's called hub.aistartacademy.com and /assets. And then there is this document called Thesaurus, and it has its first chapter is about an audit, business audit process where you map out your not in this version. Okay, I'll add that in this one. It's a process of mapping your existing processes in such a way that you can decide what to automate first. And we did that exercise yesterday. So we were able to create task inventory that we can automate. We scored that. Then we decided on what we get started with. And I did that across my own businesses. So this is kind of the report that I got. Things that I read are things that, well, AI currently suggests me to do in person, and I technically agree with it. And then the green zone is what can be automated using existing AI capabilities. And in terms of saving me time and money, those would be the best picks. We also went through an exercise where we checked business processes and mapped business processes in Miraboard to see what different businesses look like, and customer journey map or team journey map or employee journey map. And we discussed, for example, doing an audit for a business where we tried to help automate, well, not tried, but we helped automate sales process. So we had this audit that we did a few months back, and we took the sales process step by step, and then every person who is involved in that process gave his feelings around it, comments around it, tools that they used, and some comments and notes that was further transformed into an outline of what can be optimized for each step and what are the automation opportunities are and what are the friction points that could give the most effect after automation. And we did the same thing for customer care, retention, claims department. And so all of that information helps to decide what type of working pipeline you want to build, pretty much. That's kind of an important step prior to doing everything. Any automation is to understand what you're trying to automate. So I wanted to take that step back for people who are just joining us on this live stream and understand that we aren't just building. Today we are going to build practically pipelines with our students, but we are not building them out of blue sky. We previously spent already time on learning what LLMs are, what our business audit processes look like, and we mapped out certain test or existing business procedures that we would like to put into AI workflows. So this is an n8n default workflow interface, and it just starts with like add your first step. And the step is usually just trigger manually, which means that every time you want an n8n to act on something, you just double click on it. And Zulfi, I'd like you, if you're following, also to just start. Yeah, just open up n8n and get familiar with it. You can sign up for the free account. We also have our AI Start Academies account. But if you're getting serious about it, just say go to n8n and open up a free trial and use that for now. It will be also easier for you to copy templates to that. So the way n8n works is YouTube.
Yep.
n8n and the agent. We'll build our first agent here, just trying to like as a test experiment, really simple, some simple execution, simple agent in such a way that we get familiar with the interface manually. And yesterday we played around already with the guys creating n8n pipelines using Codex, so semi-automatically or fully automatically even, but we haven't checked them yet if they are correct or not.
Yeah, you want me to share?
Sure, if you'd like to show it, go ahead.
All right. All right, hey guys. So I have used n8n before, really briefly. However, this time around, we had someone very obnoxious come in and tell us that Codex can do everything. And he was right. Codex basically built this whole n8n workflow by itself. So what I did, but as it built it, I'm seeing a lot of things that I have to like clean up after. So as you can see here, I'll start with just kind of the original and what the goal is here. The goal is to I have an SEO agency, and one of the items that we take care of is all the technical SEO issues for our clients' websites. So right now it's a manual process. For example, if there's any broken links, any missing meta descriptions, all housekeeping things that don't require too much thinking, and it's just more manual time that can easily be automated. So I wanted to create an n8n workflow that would remove broken links and that would basically just try to take care of as many technical SEO issues without breaking anything. And this is with the workflow that it created. So as you can see here, it's on a weekly schedule, and then it's connected to my SEMrush and Ahrefs, which are the SEO tools that I use. And then I have it double check things. I also have it connected to my WordPress, and then updating the WordPress metadata. So that's the workflow it created. For some reason, it created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm like, why would you create so many different n8n workflows? To be fair, I was like, just had my life going on, so I didn't have to. I couldn't dedicate my whole time with it. So it has potential, but it's not quite there. It does require like hand-holding just to make sure it has the logins to all the appropriate places. For example, I have like different logins for WordPress, so it doesn't know which one it receives, but it's still too early to determine if it's helping. It is because I did do like an audit right now, and some of the issues were resolved. But for example, I asked it really clearly to reference the site audit score to determine whether things were fixed or not, because any SEO tool, you can see the issues that you had before and after you ran a crawl. So if we look at January 24th, and then let's say a few days before, it looks like there was some items that were fixed. But again, I don't know. So this is kind of like where I'm trying to put the pieces together. I don't know if the n8n workflow did it or not. So it's still too early to determine what exactly was done. But basically, I'm going to use this as the benchmark. But it's so far so good. So that's kind of where I'm
So
at.
this was done by n8n workflow that was created?
Yes.
Okay, so your Codex created an n8n pipeline, which was published, that you ran, that did the technical audit, and you saw some improvement within.
Some improvements, it didn't get everything. And also I wasn't informed when the audit was done. And it didn't reference the scores before. So, because I mentioned like, please reference SEMrush. Because one of the things that SEMrush gives you, or any SEO tool for site audits, is your site health score. And obviously it should have improved if I ran it. So yeah, it's still too early to determine. It did start to make some changes. So that's where I need to figure out, but I'm like, the one thing that I'm just so confused is like, why did it create 10 different workflows?
That does that. Yeah, if you don't kind of keep an eye on it, it'll wear off really fast. That's kind of what scares me sometimes.
Because yeah, I just let it run, and like that's why I need to be like, yeah, like so now I don't know where to go from here. It's like I have so many different workflows, so I don't know where to start from here. So for everyone that's just joining, I'm SEO owner of an agency, and I help with SEO clients. So here are the n8n workflows that Codex built for me. So pretty cool. So for, I think right now, my next step is basically, I can either start from scratch, the n8n workflow, or just edit the most recent one. As you can see here in this n8n workflow, everything is well connected, and this is where I think it's still important to learn n8n. You can't have Codex or Claude just do everything for you, because I don't even know where to start from here. Compared to someone who does know n8n, they can like check things and so on. So that's, I think, the part with AI, you can't expect it to do everything for you. You need to know the fundamentals for you to be able to call it right and make sure things are working. Right, and that's what we were debating yesterday. Should you learn n8n? So, you know, we had strong opinions about that.
Yeah, that was one of the philosophical questions that we were covering to decide whether you really need an n8n. I think because it offers for the beginners an option to see it visually in front of you in the form of pipelines. If we dig deeper into each of those nodes, it also, for example, if you scroll up, you see there is executions tab there up top. Yeah, which will show you how it ran each time, and it will show you also if there was an error in any of the nodes. You can dig into that, and then you can troubleshoot it step by step if something is wrong. I kind of use it for prototyping. I think like prototyping things in n8n is much faster than prototyping them using Codex, just because when you do it manually first time yourself, you know, it's a little bit of maybe this Gamba management approach, or iterative approach, where you build simple things yourself manually, and while you do that, you upskill in that specific area, and also you come up with questions, and you come up with thoughts that you may not have necessarily had thought about before you started doing that process. Possibly you'd go and do, like, you, for example, let's call it codexed everything within, it took maybe an hour while we were on lunch, but you have no idea what's inside. You just let it do whatever it wants, and you see the final result. So you do not necessarily have full control of whatever it built. Now, if you did it manually, more or less here or there, you'd be more aware of what's going on. So that'd be a little bit more hands-on, in my opinion. Anyways, any tool that gets you to where you want without damaging you or the business you're working for, that's should be fine. Okay, so let's continue and do a little bit of more manual stuff here. Let me.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Should I speak to the mic here? The question is it better to start looking at templates and n8n and working off that if you can find something? Or is it better to build something on your own? And for example, let's say most of the things that I want to execute are not unique. They're pretty normal stuff that anyone would need to create. So I'm 100% sure that for most of the things I need, it's already created. So what would you suggest in that situations?
I personally started with templates. and that's how you get started really fast. But also, once I started using templates, I realized that even though many of the things that I want technically on paper or in titles exist already or have been developed, when you start digging deeper, you start understanding that, oh, this piece is missing, that piece is missing. So you start customizing them to your own needs, and it becomes ultimately your own pipeline. So I'd say that for the educational perspective, if you're just getting started with n8n, I just do a very simple exercise manually without relying on templates first. And then once you kind of just understand how it works and what it does, you can use whatever templates you want, because it will be like a easy to comprehend for you. So templates are fine, but many of them aren't necessarily what they say they are, because the title may be a little bit misleading. But if you found templates that work for you, just use them. That's totally fine.
Okay.
I think that's cool.
Okay.
I also think that people usually share templates that do not necessarily have much value or aren't too difficult to deploy. At least that was my experience. So there are tons, millions, like hundreds, thousands of these templates in the internet, but their quality may not be up
But
par.
so I'm not familiar with the template work marketplace. Let's say you're just going off the official website instead of going off just some random influencer or random blog post. So for here, is there reviews for is there any feedback on any of these workflows? Because it looks like there's a creator.
I don't think there are any.
So anyone can go in here
and post anything,
and then what if you go to their profile, created by, updated. So you don't really say anything besides that. Okay. So I was trying to if there's like a template that I could use, that's like the one thing I would look at, like, okay, here you have how many views, when was the last time it was updated, whether someone created a lot of templates. Those maybe are the things that I would look at. I don't know, is there like a popular feature, like top templates?
Yeah, there are featured templates from what I saw.
Oh,
here, verified n8n automation workflow creators. Okay. Only the best. So I guess they did start having issues. This is something new. I haven't seen it before.
So this is one way you can just go to each one and just make sure they have a verified check mark. Okay.
Okay, so templates versus doing anything yourself. Templates are fine. Just beware that many of them just won't do necessarily 100% what you're looking for. You'll end up customizing them, and in certain cases fixing bugs of other people introduce. For simple things, it's probably not shouldn't be a problem. Also, n8n has community events around the country, around the world, pretty much all over the place. If you
do they have any in San Francisco?
Yeah, they have them semi-regularly, every month or every other month. I've been to one.
What's the next one?
Let's find it. San Francisco, San Francisco, San Francisco.
We're not even on the map.
We're not even on the map, huh? Okay.
I guess not.
Well, I know they had, but not now. Oh, it's not listed here for some reason.
I guess San Francisco's not the AI capital
any longer, huh? San Francisco. Okay, they used to have it, not anymore, I guess. They went international. Well, they are international. They're from Germany. Yeah, past, maybe in past.
Tallahassee, Florida.
Tallahassee. I guess they're just doing a more of
Maybe places that are not as
yeah,
available.
penetrated by AI. Uh-huh.
Because they don't even have New York, Austin, the key cities,
Mm-hmm.
at least in the US.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, also n8n San Francisco meetup.
Last year.
Last year. Okay, I guess that's the one
Maybe they stopped.
I may have visited. Yeah, I met Dylan. These events are good for networking, but you can't really learn anything on them. They're pretty basic, and they just show you like, okay, this is n8n, this is VAPI, this is 11 Labs. You can work together with them. So it's kind of hard to pick any knowledge out of that. If you want to learn more, you should watch YouTube videos or subscribe, like sign up to some bootcamp or maybe educator online, and main thing is do things hands-on yourself, and that will give you an ability to speed through the educational process. Okay, so
and then this is a good CTA right here. You can join.
Yeah, join AI Start Academy for sure. Check out our website and sign up. Also, we offer free thesaurus, so just download that to get started. And we have our next cohort in the evening, which is good for people who have jobs and don't have time to study during the day. This is a 7-day in-person and online cohort from morning to evening, but we also have a cohort that will start on July 6th, which will be online and in person in the evening, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific time. And then we'll again have a 7-day in-person and online course, maybe sometime August, morning to evening, and then we'll iterate. Okay, anyways, yeah, just subscribe to our updates and also check our hub, get the thesaurus. You can watch some existing lectures that we already produced either on YouTube channel that we have here or inside our hub. There are courses that you can go through. The differentiator, I think, of our classes is that we do everything in person, which is quite rare for AI education for the prices that we offer. B, we also offer cybersecurity classes, which no one almost takes care of. And it's important to be cybersecurity proof in the current age of AI. And these are some lectures that are very important in that regards. And also, since we are located in San Francisco, we gathered all the knowledge from those top AI researchers that we had access to. And we also run AI in production interview series here, where we interview founders who built startups in AI, and we post them on our YouTube channel. For example, Glam AI founder who has like $60 million revenue per year, I guess. And he talks about how Gen AI is going to change the world, and how everything that we see in Instagram will slowly become AI generated, and how AI will know what you want prior to you knowing that. So check that interview out as well if you're interested in in AI for content generation. All right, so let's go back to our practice here and execute our first workflow. Okay, so we created a new workflow here, and we added the first node. So the way this works is node to node, n8n node to node. Let me switch the screen sharing from Jose to my screen. Spotlight is shared.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problems. I just don't want you to share your private data to live YouTube stream. Okay, so node to node. So here we have clicking execute workflow, for example. So let's go over a few examples before we do the next step. So for example, one of the most popular things that you can do is to create a chatbot, for example. So we discussed with guys previously what is RAG and what are embeddings and what are tokens and how it all fits into creating high quality chatbots and how you chunk information and how you make sure that chatbot doesn't hallucinate and how to create prompts that will make sure that your chatbot uses the appropriate knowledge about the company that you're representing and things like that. So in n8n, and I showed that example yesterday or day before yesterday on Relevance AI, which is just yet another, let's say n8n, but SaaS based and only cloud based, doesn't have an open source version. But pretty much in n8n you can create similar pipelines. So for example, in this workflow here, we are uploading data from a knowledge base into an embedded database, into a vector database. So for example, here we extract information from file, and then this is, by the way, already a little bit more technical than just doing no-code, low-code things. For example, here we have Qdrant vector database. So in our thesaurus, you can find what at the beginning you can find what it means vector database and what types of databases there are and how to use them. But the idea here is that you take some knowledge that you have, for example, your Zendesk articles or your client's information, and then you index that and you send that to a Qdrant vector database for RAG, retrieval augmented generation. And this is a workflow that does that. So we take in the files, we have Qdrant vector database also stored locally on our Google Cloud account. And this is the interface. So node to node means that here is the trigger. Then once you trigger it, for example, it takes information from a file, a CSV file, and then it sends it to, then it loops through files. Here is a loop element. So these are all basic programming blocks that are visual. So technically this tool represents programming paradigms, but in a visual no-code way, which has been like, there are these tools that first we had like WordPress, then we started having drag and drop editors within WordPress, and then that drag and drop concept moved to AI workflow automations, to coding and workflow automations, and Zapier works in a similar way. Make.com, Relevance AI, you just kind of have these little nodes that you can connect together, and it's all quite visual. So in this case, we loop over the information that's inside the file, which means rows within a CSV. Then we have a request to an embedding OpenAI server, also hosted locally. So it's a model that creates embeddings, and embeddings is a representation of embeddings is a numerical representation of the location of the information within the vector database. I had this image somewhere here, maybe in the previous version. Embedding. Oh, here. So in a vector database, which looks like this, the information is clustered based on what on the similarity of the concepts. And we covered that 2 days, like previous 2 days, so I will not dive into that, but an embedding is pretty much a numerical representation of the data being stored within that database. So this pipeline here, it takes information from a knowledge base, a CSV. A knowledge base is a user guide, for example. So we have our software custom product builder, which is one of my companies, and it has 100+ technical articles which describe how to use our software. So these articles have been converted into a CSV file, and then the information from those articles has been looped over. So each article has like details on what's what. And then the data there has been looped through. Embeddings have been created using a self-hosted embeddings model from OpenAI. And then the data has been placed into Qdrant database, which is a vector database. So it's a 2-step process. You use vector database, but you fill it up using a model from OpenAI that helps you with embeddings. And then this means that now we have Qdrant database in our local cluster that is filled up with our knowledge. Okay, so the next part of it is the chatbot, for example. So in this chatbot, we can ask questions, and then the chatbot will also, which the important part here, like check this out also, Jose. When we talk about when we talked about embeddings, and we talked about how RAG works, the query itself. So we covered the process that you have information, you do the embedding, you put it into the vector base database. So it's stored inside the vector base in numerical format. But then when you send the query in, again, it's all math behind the scenes, not language. That's why kind of we say LLM is not as smart as it as we think of it. So the query is converted into mathematical embeddings as well, into those coordinates, and then that grabs the information from our vector database. This is relevant data that is important for the brains, the LLM, to use in order to provide relevant result for the business. So if you just ask LLM directly, it may not but it will probably not have the exact context of your specific company or use case or your user guides. You will have first to kind of it will not have memory of what's going on within your business processes or your user guides or your internal knowledge, your HR, human resources, whatever it is. But if you have a place to store your local data, like a vector database, and you connect like Sonnet or LLM like Claude or OpenAI, this increases the quality of responses in multiples, and also reduces the token usage, which is good for token economics, and it also speeds up the response. So without RAG, for example, the answer will take 10 seconds. With RAG, it may take 5 seconds. And that's important because from even the perspective of people waiting for a landing page to load, you don't want to wait more than 1 second. That's what Google told us many years ago, and it keeps being less and less. So for chatbots, it's the same thing. It's also why they have this spinning wheel that says, I'm thinking, I'm doing this, because this is a feedback loop that tells you that your chatbot has not died off. Okay, so first step, we load data into a vector database. Second step, we have a chat that goes through, so same thing, embeddings, adds information to the AI agent. Now check this out. So this is instructions for a chatbot. Data collection. Do not answer any questions until both store name and email are provided. So this was created for our application custom product builder. CPB app is a platform for product customization and personalization. And we have more than 4,000 stores running it live. And it offers an ability to sell customizable and personalizable products online, meaning you can, for example, change each detail within the product and well, you can allow your customers, so manufacturers install this application into their stores so that their customers can buy things that they really want out of all the inventory or out of all the options that this manufacturer can offer. And then you can add a logo, an image or text on top of that. So that's the chatbot that we were creating here was responsible for helping managers, store managers, create new custom products. So that's why data collection, first we asked for store name and email provided, and then only after that we allow them to continue talking to the bot, because if the chatbot doesn't know how to answer, we want it to escalate the question to the human, which means it needs to either create a ticket in Zendesk if you have an API connector to Zendesk, and Zendesk is a support agent software, or you have to send an email, which is a simpler version. So data validation, logic of the AI assistant. Okay, again, some Russian over here, but it is what it is. We are a multi-language community here, so we have many languages that we speak.
Question. So there's a lot of people who use Make as well. I forget some of the, there's Zapier is kind of the OG old school one.
Yes.
What are the differences between some of the other ones? I know like Make claims to be like easier for non-technical, easier to follow along, but there's also more limitations. So you're just curious to hear your thoughts on each of the different platforms.
I think that's just a matter of what you pick and you start working with, to be honest, at this point. And Make may be a little easier, and but they don't have the open source version. But it may be also a little. At some point, I heard that Make was a little more robust than n8n because there were like sleeping. So the problems start when you have thousands of executions, and that's where certain tools may behave sporadically. Also, there are issues when you have, for example, multiple tools. We'll cover it in a little bit, but if you have an agent that you have many tools connected to, some tools behave better with those tools, some don't. In my opinion, just coming from the OG programming background, software development background, and having completed hundreds of software outsourced like development projects for different startup businesses, manufacturing companies, e-commerce companies, whatnot. I've been stack agnostic all my life. Whatever developers wanted to work with, I let them pick whatever programming language they wanted to work with, as long as we kind of it fits into our infrastructure overall. And I think that's kind of what's called holy wars. It was previously very applicable for software tools that you use, for software, no, not software, but well, software tools, but also for programming language that you pick to achieve your goal. And now I think it's the same thing that turns into AI wars or holy wars around AI. Like, okay, what model do I use? What platform do I use? Do I build workflows manually or using Codex? Honestly, from my software development experience, we have this private Git that we store our software on. And then this Git is packed with, I don't know, thousands of projects that we spent so much time developing back in days that now I call just a cemetery of code, because the main point is to sell. The main point is whatever you build, as long as it works, go and sell. And if it does what it needs to do, you can always refactor, or you can always change it to a different platform. You can always import, export things, migrate things, etc. So I'd go with through the step of deciding what software or what AI automation workflow or what tools to use, task-based or project-based. I would list that within. I would list that within the PRD, product requirement document, that you work with originally when you start thinking about doing something. For example, we have our own cloud. So for us, n8n was a no-brainer. We just spun it out and started using it. I tried make.com. For me, as a more or less technical user, it didn't make any difference. Make or n8n, everything seemed easy enough. So I started using n8n. I got used to it. Maybe someone will say make.com is much better because of this or that. I may agree. But if n8n solves my tasks, my questions, then I'll just keep using that. If make solves your tasks, you can use it there. I think at the question is, again, thousands of executions. Think multiplied by 100 or by 1,000. Let's say you have 10 requests. It means that you pay per token and for the software. So just look into economics here. Like, what will be cheaper for you and long-term sustainable when you have, for example, thousands of executions per day or per month? Would it be make.com or n8n? n8n counts executions. I don't know what make counts and what the pricing is. But anyways, in terms of this, the eventual probably solution would be to prototype new things on make.com or n8n, but then move them to hard-coded solutions on your cloud, because that would be the ultimate cheapest and most robust way of having it run. Mm-hmm.
I have to move forward.
Okay.
On a busy street.
Okay, I'll just continue slowly explaining here, and you come back and join us. Let me, I don't know, open just YouTube in case there are any questions from anyone. Oh, what are the best paying jobs for UI? Hello guys, thanks for posting live on YouTube. Okay, thank you. Cool. So, AI agent, we discussed the instructions. Now, look, the AI agent itself, it has a model that is connected to it. So this is a node that's called AI agent. Ultimately, what happens is on the left side, it has the input part. That's the information that comes to that agent from previous nodes. And those nodes can be like webhook, for example. Some external software can send data over here. We will create a voice agent example today, later today or tomorrow, where this n8n pipeline will take in voice commands and then grab your calendar information and create events for you on calendar, or delete events or update events for you. Now, this is chat model that is connected. So this is a node that's called AI agent node. And this one can be powered by any model pretty much that you have access to via API or API key. When we create AI nodes, AI agent nodes, here what we do is we pick from all the models that are available over here. But also there are some models that are listed here by default. And in addition to that, there is an option to connect to Open Router. And Open Router by itself has many more models too. Open Router is pretty sick in that regards. Look, it has 70 plus providers of AI and 400 plus models. So you can connect using this Open Router's platform. You can, via your API key, you can connect anything you want pretty much that exists probably in our observable universe on planet Earth currently, that is available commercially. So this is AI agent model. So it was running with Open AI chat. So I'll leave that. The second piece of an AI agent is called memory. So it's a memory that has to that's the memory that everyone talks about. Or AI doesn't know what you talk about every time you reload it. So this is a simple way of storing things within an n8n. It's a very basic session storage mechanism, and it stores just by session ID, so that every time you return to your session, for example, it can be saved and you have the chat history. But it's not very sophisticated. So that again can be taken to the next level. And then an AI agent can have tools, and the tool is just like for humans. For example, you have a hammer, or you have a screwdriver, or you have a Airtable or software, or an MCP connection that we will go over. Well, we covered MCP already a little bit. For instance, within my Claude Code setup, under connectors, I have connected all the available software platforms that I work with. So Metricool for social media management, Miraboard, Figma for designs, Google Calendar for managing my meetings, Google Drive to analyze data within my folders, work folders, QuickBooks for invoicing, MailChimp for email marketing, and etc. So these are all MCP connectors, and the differentiator of an MCP connector in this case is that previously within API calls, for example, you needed to create an exact request for API, and that was much harder to develop. Now with MCP, what's cool is that you can just say, hey, can you pull data from Utrecht? Can we analyze what's going on? Look, I did that 1 week ago. And after like a little bit of messing with the connectors and whatnot, Claude Code connected via MCP server to our Utrecht, which is a project management software, gave me back a report on each of my team members, and the tickets that are assigned to that person, and the process, like what's going on with those tickets, like aging status. And then it also marked to me possible issues, like Vlad was leaving work actually exactly like a couple of weeks ago, was his last day. So his tasks are stale. So MCP, the AI, was able to pick that up and tell me that, hey, this guy might have left. And then it also showed me that one of the top performing people is latest additions to the team. This girl is working hard, so she has a lot on her plate, but also 50% is aging, meaning like doesn't get close, doesn't move status. And then Jeanne's tasks are some stale, etc. And I can also run commands like, okay, can you clean the tasks that are obsolete, for example, what we have not done forever. So in terms of project management, Utrack plus, for example, Claude or Codex will do the same thing, I bet, using MCP. It's just, again, a matter of what tool you're comfortable using. We'll do the same thing. So here I ran test sweeps just to make sure that I was playing around with it. I just started using that. I have not done that before. So I also didn't want to mess with my team's processes at this point yet. Because I want them to do it on their own so that I don't break something just by mistake. Because I haven't been hands-on in that project for a while. I have a team that works on it. So my goal was just to see what's going on from an executive perspective while I'm busy with other projects. I also want to keep tabs on what's going on within my main business. So tools are different types of software solutions or things that agent can use to achieve its goal. And the goal is what you give it as a goal. So you can tell agent, for example, using Facebook tool, create me a post, for example, or query data, or using GitLab, create a a new commit if you're in development, or using Gmail, send a new email, or using Google Ads, create a new Google Ads portfolio, or using Go High Level CRM, create new leads or opportunities, etc. And then, so this is the chat pipeline that we are going over. The first step was to load the data into RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation Vector Database. And the second part is the chat, where you query that database. So AI agent grabs the information from the chat query, goes into the vector database, well, gets embedded first, then searches the vector databases with the information. Then that becomes context for the AI agent, and then AI agent using OpenAI chat model responds to the inquirer. And then there are also can be additional steps out of that. For example, send ticket to Zendesk if required, or create a CRM record if necessary, or create an invoice in QuickBooks if that's necessary. So this is where AI is really powerful, and the AI workflows are really powerful, and that's where n8n Visual Builder is powerful, or Make.com Builder, because you can see visually what's going on, and then you can convert that into a coded solution, for example. So this is another example of a workflow. And then I think now that Jose is back here, let's just create that. Let's just create that new workflow from scratch, where we have first step is just a trigger, and then what we will do is we will connect, for example, an AI agent, and then we will no, okay, AI agent with the chat bot. So let's delete the trigger, the click trigger. Let's do the chat message here, and then
someone has a question.
Mhm. I have a question. All right. Hi, Nightlight 007. What question do you have?
It's probably like a 20-second delay. So.
Okay.
Or 30 seconds. No, it's actually a pretty long delay. Now it's just barely saying, hey,
Oh, wow.
my life, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good to know.
I'll keep an eye on it and then you can.
Yeah, okay. So we are creating our first AI agent manually. Zulfi, you following?
Yes, I am following.
Okay, perfect.
He's asking what is the advantage of using an n8n?
Dima, is that you? So the advantage of using n8n in our case, for example, within my company or within the processes that I have created, is an ability for the non-technical person to have access to the pipeline. And then I have a team, for example, there is 19 people. So a few of them can access the pipelines and then edit things depending on what's required. So they can just double click on a agent, for example, and add a system, like edit a system message, for example. So if you white code a solution or use Claude Code to white code a solution, that will mean that you cannot do that easily. You will need, for example, to do that through GitLab or for GitHub or through Git, or you need to share your repository to change that system message if it's a custom coded solution. Now, if it's OpenClaw, for example, I think that it could be similar. Like when OpenClaw came out, everyone said we don't need an n8n. But OpenClaw has a lot of security issues. n8n has been around much longer. It's a little bit more secure, a little bit more established, has a little more production-ready system. Now, if you just like the question that you asked is a little bit open-ended, meaning that what is the benefit of using n8n versus what? Or why would you use n8n? So we use n8n to run our data pipelines, and I'll show you an example where n8n is a great tool for us. For example, we use at AI Start Academy, we use n8n workflows to deal with our content creation pipeline. So this is the process that we go through. For example, when we record our cohort lessons, we have raw materials, lectures, 8 hours, because we start 9 a.m., we finish 5 p.m., so 8-hour videos. Now, out of those videos, n8n gets, so I take a card, video, what's it called? A thumb drive, right, from micro SD card, and then I upload the videos to well, both from Zoom, like using pipelines. So pipelines get triggered on regular schedule, or they watch because they're in the cloud and have access to all the assets that we have. They keep an eye on what's going on. And when the data appears in the folder that it's watching, it has specific a list of instructions that it executes. And if you use, for example, no, again, open-ended question, hard to answer every possible variation, but I'll just describe what we do. So n8n watches the folder for new videos that are dropped in. Once the video is dropped, n8n knows what to do because it has system messages, and it creates a transcript out of, well, these are Zoom ones, but it helps convert captions. Then it helps also, this is just a small file. Probably need just to pick something a little bigger. This is also a small file. So this is all done automatically, and I didn't even look into this yet. How about we look here? Sure. So small files. Summary. Here is a big file. Transcript. Okay, here's the transcript. That's from Zoom. Summary. So we have a summary from Zoom, but then captions is generated automatically from transcript using an n8n pipeline. Then this n8n pipeline creates instructions for the marketer on what to do when she posts the videos, creates instructions for the videographer on how to cut this video into appropriate lessons. If you check our YouTube channel, we have like short lesson format. So out of the long 8-hour lessons, we cut those into topics so that it's easier to kind of watch and follow. Then instructions for me on what reels I can possibly record that on my own, so that I can post them on my social media to advertise the school, for example. And then all of that is not done with one model. So this is the part where we work with the Google Drive folder in n8n. And it's also a process where you can see like in detail and like you can control what's when and why. Like if you code something and publish it online, you do not necessarily have access to the code base, meaning that you do not necessarily what it even created because you don't care enough. If you build a pipeline like that, it's quite visual for you, and a non-technical person can come in and adjust it, which is another important part. So here, for example, we have different models that are connected for different tasks. So Gemini, in this case, does module descriptions. And then each agent, so it's a multi-agent system. Each agent is responsible for its own specific task. So this one is for the long form. This one is for short form, probably.
He replied, n8n versus Codex, base 44, super agents. Free, easier to set up. I understand what you said though.
Okay. No. So it's called Holy Wars. You want to use simpler, that's fine. We already set up n8n. We use that, but I haven't yet checked super agents, so it'd be interesting to check it out. Super agents, platform, super agents, AI. Well, base 44. Okay, so
we're gonna post that video online where we have an intense debate
on
about Holy Wars. I think that could be a good series. Could be
yeah, so it depends. You know, the tools appear so fast currently, and for example, I had heard
what is base 44?
Me neither. That's my first time I'm seeing it. So it's someone just brought it up online. Automations. Okay, so it's similar thing. Just everything is pretty much the same. So you have plugins, you have files, your knowledge base, you have memory.
But it seems like they're built based off the chat, right?
This is chat based.
Okay, so this would be like something for me that I'm not super technical, would be more enticing for me to do.
Automation, so you could run automations probably on a daily basis or something. No, also fair. I mean, you can do that, no problems. We already had things set up. This is an educational kind of cohort where once you understand the concepts of how AI agents are built, what do multi-agent systems look like, you can build them using whichever tool you want, to be honest. And I bet within the next year, the whole picture may change again 10 times, and there will be new tools again, Holy Wars, whatever you want to use, you use, as long as it doesn't fail you in production, you're comfortable using that. Like long bearded developers, who develop in PHP, they never like they would die but prove that PHP is the best, or if you talk to JavaScript guys or TypeScript guys, they'll be like, no, TypeScript is better, easier. Some people like that. So I know n8n, for example, is around, and for example on LinkedIn, you don't see like we were looking at the job postings on LinkedIn, for example, and you don't see, for example, base 44 here yet. I guess it may show up. We don't know. But for now, one of our students asked, can I find a job with the tools that we learned here? So for an n8n, at least in 80 positions in San Francisco. I mean, it's not thousands, but there is already something using, like if you know n8n, you can come and become a forward deployed engineer possibly here if you have all the rest.
Search make. I'm just curious to see. That's more of a general term. I don't. But make, yeah, just make. Well, it's because it's a general word. But maybe make workflow. Make AI.
I don't know, can I put quotes around? AI enablement lead. Make real impact. Okay, not really.
Yeah, see, it's because it's a general word. What? And what about Codex? Well, that's fairly new, right? Is Codex new?
It's been around a little less than Claude Code. I think first Claude Code, I think, appeared, then Codex. First there was anti-gravity, and then they were like all one goes up, one goes down. So now Codex is the top performer because I guess they nailed the UX, and it's comfortable. It's fast.
So what's the difference between cohort, code, and now Codex? Because it seems like, yeah, I'm confused what cowork is compared to.
So cowork, from what I understand, is a more marketer, non-technical people oriented version of code.
Yes, and that's the one I tried to use, but it was terrible. Actually, it was trying to help edit pages on WordPress, or just to do anything. It was just terrible.
Cowork.
Yeah.
Okay. So
what about your experience?
Here's your feedback. I tried four chats here, and I switched back to code.
Well, in your case, because you could use code, so this is like a light version.
Yes. Also, I switched back to code because I run PAI, personal AI infrastructure by Daniel Misler that I showed guys who are on our classes, but guys who are joining live, I haven't showed that yet, but on top of Claude Code, I installed LiveOS from Daniel Misler, and it helps to tame your Claude Code into a more adequate animal, into a more homesteady animal. So it's like an operating system that has an algorithm, a dashboard, and it runs from terminal. And it is so. Just going directly to the question that we are discussing now, cowork doesn't work with pipe, for example, but Claude Code, Claude Code does. So that's why I guess I stuck with Claude Code. But also yeah, currently I'm also exploring Codex, and it seems so. Yesterday I was playing more with Codex, and I gave both Codex and Claude Code same task. I wanted to find the room, so I gave it information about what I'm looking for and what to look for and what are my preferences. And I asked them both to provide me with like a test run. Claude Code was thinking much longer. The result that it provided was longer, a little better by default without the details. So I did not provide certain details to both Codex and Claude Code. I don't know, Claude Code figured out, maybe because of Pi, maybe I don't know why, but it gave a little bit better output.
Claude Code.
Yes,
Okay.
than Codex, a little bit better, just like it added the link right away to the post. It added additional information. It right away looked for parking spot, maybe because I already trained Pi and it had information on me, so it knew some of my preferences. In Codex, for example, it gave me okay answers, but in the original response, it didn't give me the links because I connected it to Telegram bot. Here I had to create two bots too. So this was, yeah, this was the response from Claude Code for housing in SF Bay Area. And then I created another bot connected to my Codex on my Mac. And the response from it, I guess it started spamming me today in the morning as well.
What's the term for for the work for like Codex doing the work for you? Is there a term for that? There's a term.
Autonomous agent.
Because it seems like the big takeaway for me is that Codex is a much better autonomous agent for me, but not maybe the Claude is still better at reasoning.
At reasoning. I guess I agree with you, yes. And operating your computer, I guess.
And going through things.
You're going through things.
Because Claude Code isn't as.
It also can do that with additional plugins, like my Claude Code is connected to Chrome browser. So there is this, for example, tab here. It's and this presentation that I gave to our Japanese guests in the academy, I generated using Claude Code. So it edited live to Google Docs because it's connected everywhere, and was able to go through my browser, and sometimes it opens tabs, like it creates its own group of tabs, which is the term that I have not necessarily used prior to this. Like I've never used group tabs. So it creates a group tab that it controls. That's what Claude Code does. For Codex, I have not gone through that process yet. Maybe next live stream. Okay, so going back to creating our first agent here. So I was just showing an example here of content pipeline that we use for AI Start Academy that works with our Google Drive, uses different models, and models are hosted on our server. Also, what's the difference n8n with, for example, base 44? From what I see, base 44 is base 44 open source? It is not an open source. Okay, well, that is the biggest difference. If you want to save money and not pay for it's okay when you have 20 requests per month. It's $5, you don't care. But if you have millions or thousands of requests monthly, your bill starts racking up. Your your open router API request bills, your hosting bills, your n8n, like they count workflows, for example, on n8n. I don't know what are the base payment plans are, generally plans are, but on n8n, for example, I can host it locally, not locally, but in our cloud, in our Google Cloud cluster. So that's the biggest differentiator, I guess, if we compare them to the platforms that you listed. Super agents free, easier to set up. I understand what you said. No, Claude is good at text, including coding. I heard Claude is good at text. Yes, use Claude mostly for generating text, marketing materials, and things like that. Codex thinks faster though. ChatGPT seems to be a bit more active in that regards. Okay, so this is an example. Now let's go back to our kind of practical part. So this is an AI agent. We can connect a chat model to it. So in order to connect a chat model, we will have to do what? We will have to have a profile or have an account either in Open Router. If you are serious about using AI, you can create an Open Router account because it will give you access to different models that you can play with. Or you can pick OpenAI or Claude and choose one that you want. We have here OpenAI router connected. So when you create a new account, you probably don't have an account yet. So Open Router will allow you to, you will need to grab an API key and then add that to your Open Router connection. Open Router node. Here, model connected to AI agent, and then you can also, instead of Open Router, you can use just ChatGPT, or you can do Claude Code, Claude account. If you want to use ChatGPT or Claude, you can do this easily. So here it says, add new credential, create new credential. So open docs. If you're getting into AI or in tech in general with a non-tech background, it's a very good skill to start reading docs, but also you don't necessarily have to do it yourself. You can ask your Codex or Claude to explain you how to do things. So you can create a new chat and you can say, like, I need to add whatever Codex Claude to AI agent in n8n, for example, or in any other platform. You can also attach a screenshot here and from here and tell it, can you help me set up an Anthropic account, for example. It will guide you through the process. But the idea here is that eventually you will end up going either to platformclaude.com to generate your API key, or you will go to platform OpenAI.com and generate an API key there, or you will go to Open Router AI or any other model platform. I just haven't been using those after Claude and OpenAI. I just default to Open Router that has access to other models, or you can also technically have a model running on your local server as well, and that'd be the best way probably, but it would also cost you some inference. So here we have Anthropic chat model connected, memory. So here, see, there are different type of memories that can be connected. You can have Postgres, Motorhead, MongoDB. This can be also cloud-based, or it can be just for now a simple memory from n8n.
That's a good question that I also have.
says n8n uses AI models from a paid subscription. We know that. But how does n8n eliminate most costs, and what's an open router?
n8n uses AI models from paid subscription. How does n8n eliminate most costs? What's open router? Is it paid? Okay. So look, n8n eliminates costs because we host it in our Google Cloud account under our own domain. It's an open source version from GitHub. GitHub n8n. So you can download n8n from GitHub and package it and launch it on your Google Cloud or on your AWS or on your VPS server or on your local computer, whatever.
I think a good way to put it, so it's like it's kind of like a Google Drive, but instead of using make.com's Google Drive, where they'll charge you the hosting, you're creating your own
Yes.
drive that you host, and that's why it's cheaper, right?
Yeah, so this is the differentiator between software as a service, SaaS. So Base44 that was brought up here is a SaaS platform. I mean, possibly it's free, but I don't think it will be free forever, would it? I don't know. It's just my first time seeing it, so I gotta see what's the situation here. Oh, this is from Zoom. Like Base44 price from 0 to 200 per month. Okay, so it's not free. I mean, it's free to start. Free to start. 25 message credits. Okay, so 25 message. How much business can you do with that?
Nothing.
25 business messages. No, nothing, right? So, but right away, if you have 100, it's already $16. And then if you have 1,200 messages, it's $160 already.
This is annually. So if you switch that monthly, that
Oh,
price will
yes.
go up.
And it will go up. Exactly. Okay, here you go. Thank you. So this is SaaS. SaaS is software as a service, where as a service stands that you pay for it monthly because it's hosted somewhere where you do not have access to the code base. The code base access on the other side is called open source. Open source software is a software that you can go to GitHub and download to your local computer or to your web server or to your hosting provider like Google Cloud or AWS, and you have access to all its code base, which means that you A, can customize it to your needs. B, you pay in this case only for hosting. For us, we already have hosting for our main software. We have a cluster, which is like a big server. Let's say we already pay a few $1,000s for that. So for us, instead of paying an additional $200 for Base44 account, on which we do not have control of. It's also about data, who stores the data. So if you work with Base44, it means that all data goes to Base44 as well. If we work with n8n that is hosted, see, this is the difference. It's on our domain name, which means it's hosted in our on our Google Cloud, right? So Google Cloud is a Google Cloud is a hosting provider like AWS, for example. Hosting, what's called data center. So this is how it would look like inside the data center. That's what everyone is talking about now, building data centers. So these are shelves with trays that have either CPUs or hard drive disk, HDDs, SSDs, or GPUs currently for AI data centers, etc. So this is where, so if you use base 44, you pay monthly $200 if you are like hitting the limits, and all your data is with base 44. If you use n8n, in our case, you download it for free from the internet, from GitHub, you install it on our Google Cloud instance, because we have already one, or our server, or our like whatever. And we store also all the data, because the pipelines that we create, see, when we look here into it, this all has our own local addresses in this case. Check this out. Local addresses is here. Local IP address within our internal network. Local Mistral is probably on Mistral.ai, yes. But there was some example. Oh, on chatbot, I was showing on chatbot, there was like local Qdrant database. So everything is free. We use open source. So we use free vector database. We use free open source vector database, free open model to create embeddings. And n8n is also free. And we launch it within our own server. So the only thing we have to pay in this case for are tokens from LLM that will be the brain here. This we either have to host our own small language model or use a more advanced model. This is what is important, like how smart is the model that you use, right? So that's the only thing that we pay. Instead of paying $200 for base 44, we pay maybe, I don't know, $50 for hosting at max, and we can use it to maximum. This is the idea. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I think a good example is maybe like
I'm here. Base 44 is paid. That's why I'm here. There you go. Super base also, but also it offers you like 120 free requests per month, or like only a certain limit amount of only certain amount of requests or rows per month. And then after that, you still have to pay. So all SaaS, eventually, you will end up having to pay. And for open source, and if you have hosting, you can deploy it on your own computer. Now, this website, for example, our AI Start Academy website, previously it was hosted on Webflow, $40 a month. Now I Claude coded it from scratch, and day before yesterday we did an audit. So I created it from scratch just using Claude, but I also had like designs from my team, from Figma, and I had branding guidelines. So it was not just like I came and I started coding. It would not look as nice. I already had some information, some context that I could add to this project so that the landing page looks really nice. But now it's plain HTML. It doesn't have any even CRM behind it or any CMS behind it. No, I mean, I'm testing, I'm playing around. AI is new. All these things are new. We are on an R&D department here, research and development. Certain things we test will work, certain things will fail. We'll tell you maybe in a couple of months our new opinion. But for now, it's working and it's interesting, so we're just doing what we can. Supabase backend, good. Supabase also is available as open source. Netlify, I have not heard of, but you can do that. How would you design a leads manager SaaS business? Leads manager SaaS business. CRMs, I think you can vibe code quite fast right now. Pretty basic packages. So you just use Claude Code to create it.
You can also contact him if you have any further questions on any projects.
Yeah. Yeah, shoot us a message and we can go. I can send you some links to existing
Maybe
classes.
put your email.
Cool.
When is lunchtime?
I think it's time, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just finish here with this part. So, Zulfi, this is directed towards you mostly because you probably opened up your n8n, and I hope you'll follow these steps through. So, if you and I disconnected FaceTime from phone, and I asked it not to do that, but it still does it. Okay, I'll check it again later. So tool, I explained what tools are. And in this case, what we can do, just simple thing, we will connect Google Calendar in a little bit after lunch. So this will take some time to set up, so it will be interesting. I don't have credentials here, so I won't add anything. And plus, it's build a team. I gotta be in AI Start Academy. But anyway, so this is a basic structure of an AI agent here, and it can be expanded into much bigger workflow trees, like in this example for working with our content pipeline. Again, if you are just by yourself, you may as well just use Claude Code or Codex to run certain things manually. You trigger them manually, you receive the result, you're done. But if you have a team, if you need it to be reproducible, many of these things aren't even LLM based. They are just data workflows that operate with anything that you feed into it, pretty much. So, Zulfi, what I want you to do is to go eat if you have time. Like if you want to eat, go for lunch, because Jose is inviting me to go have lunch right now. But I want you to connect your model, either Open Router or Chat or Open Anthropic, to this chat agent, and then just add simple memory. And then after we come from lunch, we'll continue on setting up Google Calendar connected.
And it's worth letting the viewers know that they want to
come back in an hour or so.
Yeah, and we're gonna build more products.
And we'll build more products. And thanks for your questions, Nightlight007. And it was a very interesting discussion. Everyone who is watching this lecture after it's been live, when it's just posted on YouTube, we are AI Start Academy. We're located in Mission District in San Francisco, and we do in-person AI agency bootcamps in the format of 7 days and morning to evening, and in the form of evening classes, 3 weeks evening, Monday to Thursday for working professionals, and morning to evening 7-day format for people who have time to dive into this stuff heads-on. Our website is aistartacademy.com. There are free lectures that are available on this YouTube channel. Check them out if you want to learn more about AI or cybersecurity. I left our email in the chat, and we're going for lunch. We'll see you in about an hour, and we'll keep building new things here live in new sessions as well. So subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and share them with your friends so that they know how to build AI tools as well, because this is all about sharing. Bye. Zulfi, I'll see you in an hour, okay? Sergey, привет. Nice. Looks like you were able to figure out what hub is.